Okay, so welcome back. Uh, what we want to do right now is to add a submit button. I thought of it two ways. One of it, I'm not sure which one really the best way to go about it, but one of it will be for every position, we have a submit button for that particular position so that you select a presidential candidate, for example, Mary, then you click on the submit button. So that's one way. Now, the other way really is to have just one submit button at the very end. Just have one submit button at the very end. So you have to vote for all the positions, then you just submit once. Okay, so which one do we go with? Okay. Okay, let's just go with this one. Let's go with this one. We just have one submit button. But if you look at it, how we do it physically, really, we normally have a sheet. We normally have a sheet for each of the position, and then you tick, but because this is a system, I think it will be better off if we just have one submit button. So if that is the case, then we will have to come here and remove the form. We had the form for the president, so that one is starting here and it's ending here. So we don't want it to end. What we will do is that we will remove this from here. Just remove that. And then we come to the vice president. The vice president is here. And then here we also remove this so that we don't have it. Then we will close our form down here, all the way down here. So it's just one form. From the president all the way. So this one, you can just call it vote form, something like that. Okay, so that's how we do it in order to have just a single submit button. Now, just before we close that form there, we want to bring in I'm thinking of bringing in something like this. There's something like that div, then we have the submit button inside it. We can also look at the other form elements that are present in this particular Nalika template. You can come here to form elements. Okay, so we can see all the form elements we have, and here we have almost something like what we want here. This piece here. So I think we can go to this one, and we copy this and see how it will look like. Okay. So let me go to C WAMP64 www. Then I come here to voting system. Then our templates, Nalika. Then we find that page, basic form elements. So B, I think it's this one. Basic form elements, edit. Then we want to search for model. Here, find model. Okay. That's a link. Okay, I think it's this one. Yeah, I think it's this one. Okay, so model login form should be that one. Yeah, model login form. Okay, and where is the model login form? Where is the button? Just trying to find where the button is. Oh, it's here. It should be this one. Let me zoom out a little bit. Just want to find out. That's just too much. Let me try. I'm trying to find out. Let me change this to something and save it. Refresh. Okay, change this one. I'm trying to find this. The button. Where is the button? Should be this one. Save it. Refresh. Okay, so we found it. Okay. Okay. It's not really a button, it's actually just an anchor link. Okay. Row. Where now is this starting? And where is it ending? That is what I'm trying to find out. Okay. Instead of using that, let me just try and use this. This looks. Let me try and use this from the index.html. We had opened the index.html. Let me try and find tax reduction. Find tax reduction. Okay. Tax. Okay, I found it. Yeah. Okay, this one looks better. This one looks better. 3. So let me just copy this. Copy. Then I'll come to our vote. Then you can just paste it here. Just want to know. Just before president. Just before vice president. No, it's actually after. Where does that end? Okay. Okay, it's actually supposed to be outside here. So we're going to take the form outside. So this one, close form. We're just going to take it all the way down here. Here. Okay, that should be it. Okay, I wanted that red line to make sure that I have the correct indentation. So just take this back. One step there, good. So we're closing our form there. So here, let's just save it and refresh to see what we have. Tax reduction. Oh, doesn't look good. Doesn't look like what I wanted it to look like. Wow. No. Okay. Index. Let me find the yearly sales. Will it be different if I have it? Oh, normally they're in a container. Okay. Let me just copy the whole of this. The whole of this. The whole of this. I think it goes up to there. 937. Okay. 937. So just copy that. Then I come to index. Don't to what? To vote. And I can just get rid of this. Then I can paste what I just copied. Save it. Go back here. Refresh. Okay. Okay. So now I have almost what I want. I'm just going to delete. I hope when I delete these three, I'm going to have this remain yearly cells there. So let's just delete the revenue, the tax reduction, and finally these one here. Orders. Hey, is it going to come back? Save it, refresh, and see. It comes back here. Okay, that is okay. We can do some margin. Again, a bad practice here. Style, margin top, and then we give it a 15 pixels. Save it, refresh. Good. That looks good enough. Okay, so now here we can say press the vote button to submit. Press the vote. Let me just say just that. What else do we have? We have this, we have this, 80, 80, 80, 80. We can remove this. We don't need it. And it is 100. We can have our button here. Then we can remove this. We don't need it. It's the progress. Okay. 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 So we can have our submit button here. So input type is equals to submit. Name is equals to vote. ID is equals to vote. Then value is equals to vote. Okay, so let's just save this and see how it's gonna look like after we refresh. Okay, click the vote button to vote. Doesn't look very nice. Basic form. Where is that vision? Let's copy this class and hope it's going to make our copy that class. Then we paste it. Index. No, what? Then we paste it here and see if it's going to make our button appear better. Refresh. Nothing. I don't like how that button is looking like. Huh. Okay, let's just copy some code here to format that button a little bit. CSS button. Let me see. It's too much. Okay. Back in 24. You just cut this. When we come to the header, where is the header? We can make it where is header the PHP here? Okay. Not a very good way of doing things, but let's just do it anyway. Style and style, just like that. That's okay. Okay, so you can save that. We can go back to vote. Then we can copy this class. And paste it here. Is it going to work? Refresh. Okay. Okay. I think what we can do, we can remove this. You have here the value as click to vote. Submit your vote. Not sure whether that's gonna be so long. Refresh. Okay, so that looks like what we want. We just want the user to click on this to submit the vote. So right now we don't have any PHP. So that's what we want to do. Just remove these two divs. Save it. Refresh. Okay, that looks better. Now it's at the center. Okay. Okay, so now we have our we have a submit button now. The ID is vote. So I think now we can go ahead and pick up the data using PHP. This data, this PHP is going to come here. So we're going to put it here. PHP. Okay, so we don't need to start from scratch. We can copy, for example, from the var. This one, we can copy this, almost the same thing. So we can copy that code. We come here to votes, we paste it, then we can change it. So votes, if the vote button has been clicked, we want to pick the president. Oh, sorry. Okay, I think that's okay. President, vice president. We can just initialize it to 0, success, error is equals to nothing. Then we can pick up the data from the form. So president and vice president. I think the value on the form is president. The name and vice president respectively. And that is here. Yes. So the name of the radio button is president. So it's going to pick the value, and the value is going to be the ID of the president who has been voted for. Similarly, for the vice president, where is it? Here, type radio. Vice president is the name. It's going to pick the value, which is the candidate ID, the person who has been voted for. So that's what we want. That is exactly what we want. So let me see. Yeah, we also need the user ID, the person who is voting, so that we can save that. So the first thing we want to check is to check if this person has already voted. And to do that, we need to create, by the way, the votes table. We don't have the vote table, so let's just create it. The way I've thought of it, I just want it to be so the table name should be votes, so it should carry our vote. So the first column there should be ID, should be an integer, auto increment, and primary key. Okay, then the second one should be the user. Should we do the user ID or the election ID first? Anyway, just the same thing. So user ID, then we can also have the candidate's ID, so the candidate they are voting for. Candidate ID, then you can have the election ID. Like that, just that. So all of them are going to be integers because they're just IDs. And then we can be able to count how many people have voted for a particular candidate using the candidate ID and the election ID. So we just want it to be that. So we save that. I don't think there's anything else we need for this. Okay. So far it has nothing in it. So the first thing we just want to check here is to select from vote. Select from vote where user ID is equals to user ID and election ID is equals to election ID. Did you pick the election ID, by the way? We haven't. Okay, because here we are supposed to sanitize this so that if the user inputs any other value, we can be able to. So let's just sanitize the data we are picking. president, then here vice president and vice president. We just sanitize the data. Now we also need the election ID. We need the election ID. At this point, because we know the election, I'm just trying to be lazy here. Instead of picking it from the database, we know that the active election is this one, this one that has 1, and the ID is 1. The 8th August 2022 general election, that's the active one. So we just want to say election ID is equals to 1. So this particular query will check if the user has already voted in this election, because a user can only vote once. So it's going to check if the user ID exists, and the election ID exists. So it simply means if they get that this guy has already voted. So let's just do the query. We're doing the query there, and then checking the number of rows. Then we can say you have already voted in this election, if that is found. So you have already voted in this election. You have already voted in this election. We just want to say that. Else, we now want to insert. We want to insert. What do I mean? We want to insert the values that have been entered into the vote table. So insert into vote. So we want to insert the user ID. I think here in the vote table, it's also important we capture the time when this person voted. So we can just add another. We can come to structure here, then we add 1 column, just enter the, and then we want to add it at the very end. So after election ID, then go. Then for this one, we can say vote time. So we just want this to be the timestamp. Where is timestamp? Then default, here under default, you must always remember to choose current timestamp. Just that, then save. So now that will be automatically filled, and the structure of our table has now changed. Now we have a column for the voting time. Okay. Okay. So the first one we want to capture is the user ID, then the candidate ID. So user ID, then candidate ID, then okay. Okay, so user ID, candidate ID, then the election ID. So user ID here, candidate ID. I'm just thinking we might need to change the variable, this variable for the candidate ID. Okay. I think we have it already. So because it's going to be the candidate ID, so we're just going to use this variable president. For the vice president, you're going to use vice president. I think that's what you're going to do. Okay, so here we will, for the candidate ID, we want to save that president. Then we want to also save the election ID. So that's very important. Okay, now once we have that, we're just going to copy this and paste it in this line. Now here we are going to vote for the vice president. So we're just going to change this vice president, and we want to concatenate this SQL and this one. So we're just going to add a dot is equals to, like that. I think it should be like that. And then here we're just going to change. Remember, we learned this during the theory, that when we want to update multiple SQL statements, we use the multi underscore query command. So if we use that, then it's going to insert the vote for the president and the vote for the vice president. So generally, we're just saving who has voted in which election and for which president. So it's going to be very easy to count the votes for the president, very easy to count the vote for the vice president. So we just want to say you have voted, you have successfully voted. Okay, just like that. Otherwise, if there's an error, we just want to print out the error. So we'll need to also print out success and error down there. So I'm just thinking that our code is good to go. But if we get any problem, then we're just going to have to work on it. Let me go back to vi here, and then come back. I just want to find this code for success. If success or error is set, this one, we just copy it, and then we bring it to vote. So we just want to print it just below the submit form here. Just want to print it here if there's an error, so that they can see it. Okay, so once we have that, let me just save this. Let's refresh and hope it works. Okay, so let me just refresh. Okay, so remember, this is Simon. Let's just follow Simon as a user. Simon, the user ID is 5 for Simon. Okay, then we want Simon to vote for Mary as the president, and to vote for himself as the vice president. So remember, they have voted for Mary as the president. Mary's candidate ID is what? We need to find it. Okay, Mary's user ID is 2, Mary Achen, and their candidate ID, so 2. So their candidate ID is 3. Their candidate ID is 3. So we just want to see whether 2 is going to vote for 3 under the position number 1, position ID number 1. So it should be 2 in this table, in the vote table. It should be user ID 2, then candidate ID 3. No, we are not saving the position ID, so just the election ID 1. Okay, so let's just find out if that is going to happen. Mary, click submit. Okay, you have an error. So you have an error in your SQL syntax. Check the manual that corresponds to your server. Listen to use near insert into vote. ID, candidate ID, election ID. Okay, so we have this error. We need to find out what the problem is. It's line 2. Election ID 1, that is okay. User ID 5, is that user ID for Simon? The user, yeah, it's actually for Simon. And the candidate ID is 7. We just want to check that 7, if it's indeed the 7. Yes, 7 is actually for Simon, because you can see user ID 5. So he voted for himself for this position, for the vice president. Okay, so at least I think our code is picking the correct values. So we just want to see what the error is here. What is the problem? What is the problem? Vote. The problem is somewhere here. When you're concatenating vice president, election ID, candidate ID, election ID values, insert into vote. I really can't find the problem. Let me just check. Insert into vote. Vote. Is there anything I've misspelled? User ID, candidate ID, election ID. Okay. Let me try and just remove this and just see whether we can be able to vote just for the president alone. So let me just save it, then we can delete it. Then I refresh. Okay, then I choose Mary, then click submit to vote. Okay, you have successfully voted. But undefined index vice president on line 13. I think we have a problem on line 13. Why? Vice president. This one. Didn't we call it vice president? Let's find down here on the form. Or did I mistype? It's actually vice president. It's okay. Oh, we didn't select it. Oh, that's why we have that error. Okay. We didn't select vice president. We didn't select vice president. That's why we are getting this this error, because we are trying to pick something that is not there. So okay, we can solve that later. But for now, we can check in our vote table by clicking on it. Good. So we have it. We have this guy has voted for candidate number 3 in election number 1. So we have that already. That is good enough. So let's see whether if this guy tries to vote again, do we have an error? Yes, you have already voted in this election. So at least that bit is working. So now I'm going to show you how to get rid of this error where someone submits without selecting any particular option. And of course, they have that freedom. You can just come and vote just for the president alone. So That's not a problem. Okay, so let's just delete this entry in the database. Let's just delete it. Or let's just change the user ID to something else, to maybe 9, so that it's not user number 5 that voted. Then we try and work out, we try and sort out this problem that was here. We really want this guy to be able to vote. Okay, so I'm supposed to rush somewhere, so I'm really in a hurry to finish this up. I hope it's going to work. Let's just search my SQL multi-query, multi-insert. Okay. So, okay, so this is an example. Multi-query function performs one or more queries against the database. We want MySQL insert, multi-query insert. Okay. Let's just find an example we can have a look into. Insert multiple rows. To insert 2 rows into the project table. Insert into. Oh, we can use this format. Looks good enough. Then values. Okay. Not sure whether that will work. I haven't used it before. Okay, let's just try that. So let me see. So we have a comma separated after the values. We just want to change our formula, our syntax, to look exactly like this, so that instead of using the multi-query, we just use the query command. So let's go ahead and do that. So with the multi-query, we will concatenate several SQL statements like this, but we are getting an error when we use this. And I'm unable to solve it for now. So we just want to try this one. So I'll just cut this. I'll just cut that, then put a comma. Okay, yeah. So I've just cut that and then put it here. So now I have the vice president vote here. Then I have a comma here. So I can just get rid of this. And then also get rid of the multi underscore, so that we just have a query, because now it's one query, but we are inserting multiple values, comma separated like that. So that should also work. We have our, you have successfully voted here. So let's find out if this is going to work. So far we have this one vote here. So let me just refresh the page. Then we want to vote for Mary and for Simon. Then click, and great. So you have successfully voted. So that one has worked. Wow, that's good. So we just click on vote, and good. We have the user ID number 1 has voted for candidate number 3 and candidate number 7. So we have that. We just want to delete everything here, so that we begin from the top. If we vote again for Mary and Simon, you'll see that the ID does not begin from the very first value. So we just want to change this so that it can begin from the very first value using the alter command. So to do that, we can come here to SQL here, and then we can do we can do alter table vote, alter table vote. Then we want to alter the auto increment. We want it to begin from 1 again, so we can just do that, and then to execute that command we can click on go. Okay, so the command was executed. So now if we vote again for Mary and Simon, vote, run, browse, good. So the first vote is ID number 1, then ID number 2. So we voted for candidate number 3, candidate number 7 on election number 1. So what else can we do? I think we can log in with another user and vote maybe someone else. You can log in with the Chiang, this one here, and test to see whether it's working with another user. So Chiang 1 2 3 4. Then I can come to vote. Then we want Chiang to vote for herself and to vote for John Doe. Click submit. Okay, so she has voted. We can come to the vote table to find out. Yeah, good. So user number 2 has voted for herself, candidate number 3 and candidate number 4. So that is exactly what we wanted to do in this particular video, and I think we've achieved it. So we need more test data, and that's the assignment I'm giving you. Please add more test data so that we have about 30 people here. Then we can have several candidates also for each of the position. Remember, so far we've only fielded candidates for president and vice president. So you also need to create the others. So I want you to complete this. You add the same way we added vice president. I want you to add a secretary general, academic secretary, sports and entertainment secretary, and social welfare representative. So make sure you add these other positions, and you also add candidates for those positions. So you really have to have a lot of test data in order to implement this, and I really want you to do that. Then in the next video we can work now on retrieving the results, or retrieving and publishing the results. So that's what we are going to do in the next video, so don't miss out on that one too. But make sure you increase your test data. Also offline, I'm also going to increase my test data so that by the time I'm presenting to you the results, you're able to see something substantive. I had forgotten something. There was this error we were getting, this one here. The error itself is on undefined index on president and on vice president. This error occurs when someone tries to vote without really without selecting any candidate. So you just click on vote without selecting a candidate. So we will have that error. The reason as to why it's happening is because we are trying we are trying to get values from the radio button here, using the post command, even though no value has been posted here. So that's why we are getting that error. But if we select someone and we submit, then we don't have an error. Of course, you're just going to get this. You have already voted, but we don't have an error. We don't have an error. But if we vote without selecting someone, or for example, we select Mary and we don't vote for the vice president, then we still get an error. So we need to get rid of that. How to do so is you can just use the if statement. So if so we can do if is set. If is set, then we can do the post there. So post backend president. So just like that. So we can do the same for this guy. We can do the same for this guy and close it here. We can indent that. Then we can let this be vice president. Now, we don't have to have an else really, because we've already initialized these variables to 0 here. So we don't have to. So if they have not selected, because they have a right to vote for the president and not vote for the vice president, at least according to according to our law, you can leave a voting sheet blank. So if they don't vote for a vice president, it's just going to be 0. It's going to be 0. So we're just going to update 0, and therefore it means we are not going to count that as a vote for anyone. We're going to count it maybe under spoiled votes. So that's how we're going to count that. So that's all you need to do. So if I save this and I refresh, and now I try to click on submit, so we don't have an error. We don't have an error, but you still, of course, have that particular message. You already have voted. Okay. Maybe we can log out. Just a moment. Okay, so we just want to log out with that person, and maybe log in with John and see whether John can be able to vote for just the president alone. So log out. Test John's. Okay, log in. Vote. Okay, so just want John to vote for Sarah and not vote for the vice president, then click on submit. Okay, so good. You have successfully voted, so that's nice. That is all that we wanted. That's exactly what we wanted. Maybe the only other thing I can add here is I want us to make these two appear good a little bit. And normally these templates, when you download them, they also come with notifications. For this one in particular, they're here under app views here, app views. So you can come to notifications. So these are some of the notifications. So we can copy one of them. We can go back and look at also we can look at alerts. Good. I think this is what we really need. So we can pick something like this. We can pick something like this for. We can pick something like that for positive feedback, and this one for if there is a problem. So we can just go to alerts.html. www voting system template nalika alerts. Did I really look at? Yeah, it's here. Okay. Let me see if there's some term I can search for. Well done. Yeah, I can just search for this well done. Find well done. Okay, so I have it. So to get that, we have to use this div alert success. Okay, end div. Okay, we successfully. Okay, so that is it. So we just copy that div, and then we come to vote here. Then here, instead of having a paragraph, here on success we have that div. Okay, a problem, we have double quotes. We can just delete them and have single quotes so that they don't interfere with the outer double quotes. Okay, then we can go all the way and close the div here. So that's for success. For the error, we can go back to alerts and this one. Oh snap. I think that is it. Yeah, this one. Oh snap. So that's what we want for the error message. So we can just copy this div. Sorry. So copy, come back to vote. So just remove this paragraph. Then we have the div there. We remove this double quotes. You can also use an escape character like that. So you can use the escape character like that. But I don't like using that. I just like using a single inside. If outside, I've used double quotes. Okay. Then we close the div here. Yeah, that was a problem, and I was just wondering. Just thought it was looking funny. Div. This one here, we've closed this wrongly. This div supposed to be the /first. Okay, so we can save this and refresh. If we try to click on submit, oh, we don't have this formatted. Did I save? Yes, I saved. It is not working. Why? Okay, so let me just find out. Maybe I also need to copy this div here. This one. Yeah, I think so. So I'll just copy it. Just copy that div. And just put it there. I'll also copy it and paste it here for the error. Then I'll go and close it at the very end. Okay. Okay. Copy, paste. Paste it, save it. Then I can refresh. Now let me see. Oh, still not working. What the PHP? How come it's still not working? I don't get it. Really. It shouldn't be this. It shouldn't be this hard, really. row alert. Let me already have it. Let me just copy this. Let me just copy this as it is up to there and see whether it's going to work. I come here to vote. I scroll all the way down. Just after the header. Okay, this is where the content goes. Okay, just want to put it here and see whether we're going to have anything. Save, refresh. Okay. So it's actually working, as you can see. But it's not again exactly as it is here, because that one that I'm copying, I thought, oh, okay, maybe this one is just this one. The exact one that I wanted was this one. Bootstrap custom alert. Let me go and find that. Find Bootstrap custom alert. Okay. I think this is what I need. This one to be precise. Let me just copy it from there to here. Copy it. Come back to vote. Paste it. Save it. Refresh and see. Doesn't look exactly as it looks here. It looks here. I don't know why. Maybe we have some CSS on this page, the alert page, that this one depends on, that we've not included in the header. We have Bootstrap. Do we have anything to do with alerts? It's here. Alerts. Let me just copy this. Then we find our header. Where is our header? Header. Here. Let's find on the header, do we have alerts on these style sheets? So I'm just trying to look. Do we have alerts? Okay. I think we don't have it. Maybe that's the reason as to why it looks different. We can just paste it here and see how it goes. Let me save it. Then come back here, refresh. Good. Now it looks exactly like how we want it. So that was the problem. The alerts, the CSS for formatting the alerts had not been included. Okay, so let's go back to vote here. What am I supposed to do here? Okay. So here under votes, I just want to remove some divs here and see how it's going to pan out. Just want to remove that, to remove this. Then I save it, then I refresh. Okay, yeah, so I just want something like this. I want exactly something like this. Okay, so it's working. Let me see if I do submit here. Okay. Okay, so what I'll do here on vote, I want to take that success from down here, because we are submitting the data in the same form. So when we submit, it refreshes. And let me just carry this. cut it, then put it up here. Because any time we vote, we click on the vote button, it refreshes the page, and therefore it takes the person up here to the very top of the page. So it's good if we put the message at the very top here. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, so we just want to put it here just before the precedence. Yeah, good. Okay, and now we want to copy these on for success. Let me just copy it. So here, we just want to, let me just delete the whole of that. So we just want to say success is equals to, then we post that, and then we want to change the message. We want to change the message to you successfully voted. You successfully voted, just like that. We do the same for the error. We just delete everything there. Then we go ahead and do that. And we just want to copy the whole of this. Copy. And just paste it here. Okay. And here we just want to say you have already voted. You have already voted in this election. Okay, let me just save that. I think now we can get rid of this. We don't need it to appear up there, so we just get rid of it. Okay, then I save it. Can come here and refresh. Okay, then I can come and vote. Oh, how come? Okay, now it's appearing up here, but it's not appearing the way we want it to appear. Why? Why is it misbehaving? I don't get it. Echo. It's just supposed to appear there. Wow. Wow. Let me try and get rid of this. And just do an echo here. Echo. Echo. Save it. Oh. Nine. Okay. This should be working really. Should be working. Because if we just copy this and put it here, works. Save it. Refresh. I just want something like this. How come it's not working when we echo it? I don't understand. Let's keep trying. Let's keep trying and see. Oh, let me put double quotes and see how it works. So inside, you can just do single quotes. Might that be the issue here? You can also use find and replace for this, by the way. I just chose to use that one, but you can also use find and replace. Let me just save this and refresh. Okay, then come and vote. Okay. Am I printing the right? Am I printing the right value? I'm just wondering. How come? Save it. Save it. I think I'm printing something else. Because when I change here, it doesn't change. I just added some string here. And it's still, you have already voted. So maybe I'm printing the wrong value. Oh, that's the problem. Where do we print you've already voted? Here. Oh. Okay, so let me just delete that. Then copy this. So that was the problem. Hey, sometimes in programming you run into silly problems. Here's the error is equals to here. It's okay. So we were actually printing the wrong error value. Then here it's not about voting. Here maybe something just went wrong. Here is if the data has not been saved in the table. So you just tell the user something went wrong. Please try again. If the problem persists, please contact the administrator. Something like that. Okay. Okay, so submit. Good. Now we have it. And now we have it. So that's exactly what we wanted too. to get there. Very good. Where is the ocean? We can create a space here. Okay, so that's good enough. I think we can. Good. Oh snap! We have already voted. Okay, so we can just log in with someone else. Sarah. I'm not sure that Sarah has voted. Someone who's not voted, then we see the positive message. Okay, so paste it. Go. Vote. We want Sarah to vote for herself and to vote for Simon. Vote. Good. Well done. You successfully voted. So that's exactly how I wanted it to behave. Thank you for your patience on this one. But I'm sure you've learned some troubleshooting skills too. And it's good that you accept as soon as now as a developer that you'll be running into such trouble. They are not really trouble, but sometimes you just can't see. It's like you're having the phone on your hand, but you're searching for it. Okay. So thank you very much for your time. Remember to like this content, comment if you have any question, and also subscribe to my channel so that you can be getting updates when I make other tutorials. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your time. Bye bye. See you in the next video.